Cool. Should we start?
We are recording.
Awesome.
Yeah, Mark, do you want to just jump straight into the galactic update then?
I will indeed. So as we said in the last weather report last week, we've entered into the Yellow Warrior wave spell. So a wave spell that really reconnecting to what is my warrior's mission, and one of the big challenges that we come up against when we go into this Yellow Warrior wave spell is, we have to let go of some things. We have to let go of trying to carry the whole village, trying to carry the whole world on our shoulders and take that responsibility for everything and kind of let go and go, but what is my responsibility? What is my warrior's mission? And so we've been going through a process of that, which, in many different ways, everyone will experience it differently. It'll be kind of refining that for us. The different experiences we attract into our world will help go through these different stages of helping to refine what that means. And today, specifically, we're in the 9th day. So these wave spells run in 13-day cycles. And so today is the solar tone. And the solar tone is all about, the moment before we manifest the whole purpose of this wave spell. It's where the energy is pulsing on a spiritual plane, like the sun that kind of pulses into the, bringing these codes. And it's known as the yellow solar seed. So essentially, today's archetype is all about seeding the seeds of our purpose, of our bigger mission into the field, into our field in that sense. And then the next step, we begin to water them, as we go forwards. So I really appreciate, we missed the recording because Penny shared before, some great breakthroughs and wins. And that's just a great example of planting a seed, of what it is, what our purpose is. It's also, I felt in our conversation that Jason and I were having today, that it was really about this. It was about refining what seeds are we planting and what seeds are we wanting to grow that we want, what is our deeper purpose? And instead of watering all the weeds in the garden around us, let's get much more conscious about what seeds we are giving our attention to. And so, so that's the weather report for today.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's very relevant with what we've been talking about. And I guess it's been coming up for me around how and where to focus and how easy it is to focus on aspects that aren't actually supporting what was my main initial seed as to why I joined, and also whether it's actually moving then the momentum forward, or whether it's just, a bit of this and a bit of that and trying to caretake and make sure that everyone else is okay without actually then checking out where my business needs to move. So yeah, it's super important and relevant and been coming up. So it's great. It's great. And Mark and I were chatting about how and what we want to, I guess, seed with these conversations on Monday as well with you guys. Because I know that in the beginning, Mark and I had kind of a lot of structure, and we had intentions and topics and agendas of what we were wanting to do. And there's a lot of that out there right now. So we really just want to create this space as a Q&A for you guys to have a place where we can bounce ideas off each other and learn more about the Healy with each other and learn more about the business with each other. So that feels really good for both Mark and I to just be able to really show up and then support dynamically with whatever is alive with that, without us needing to organize too much and for us to kind of feel like we're controlling what is happening or any of that. So yeah, we're going to keep them unless something is really burning within us that we're kind of like, we're talking about this 5 times during the week. Let's talk about this on Monday at the meeting and record it. Otherwise, it's really just going to be a case of we're going to show up at our time, 4 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, and we're here as service for you guys to bounce questions off, and also then for all of us to be learning more and more about the Healy, because I know that last week I definitely learned a lot about Healy, which was great. And not only from Michaela, but from others that had experiences with the product. So it was great. Did you want to add anything to that, Mark?
No, I think you summed it up well. And
I just want to chime in and say I think that's awesome, and that's sort of exactly what I need. And I think my team members, once eventually they jump on, then that's probably what they're going to be looking for too. So thanks, guys. That's awesome.
Fantastic. You know, Penny, it's funny. I was saying to Jason, I've spent so long torturing myself trying to be something, okay, I should be, what does a leader in network marketing mean? What does it mean to be a leader and hold space? What is my responsibilities to the team? And we try to do all these things, but in the end, Jason and I, we're adventurers, you know, we're explorers of, you know, all the quantum dimensions of reality. And what we've come to realize is that this is the easiest way, the best way for us to be of service. And ironically, it's effortless and we can enjoy it more. So it's been such a relief to be able to let go of that pressure. And so the invitation is to all of you as well, that when you're finding your place within Healy, really drop into what is your natural genius rather than trying to take on, you know, the network marketing role or this role. And, you know, I think all of us are rediscovering what it even means, you know, because Healy kind of sells itself. All you need to do is develop a relationship with it, get to know it, and then fall in love with it and use it and then share the results. And then the rest kind of happens in many unique ways. So yeah, thanks for the confirmation, Penny. Yeah.
So with that, I do have a question around pain. And if anybody else has noticed this, but when I'm experiencing, pain, and I try to use the Analyzer app to see what program would best work with that pain, it doesn't seem to come up with, it's like Healy doesn't agree that the pain is the biggest issue to work on. And just for example, so Saturday night I'm at another party and my girlfriend has a pounding headache and I wasn't thinking clearly and I just popped on the head program and it wasn't doing anything within like 5-10 minutes. And she just said, no thanks. And I was like, I know I should be able to fix a headache, like should be able to help her. So I did the scan and allergy meridian came up. And so I convinced her to run the allergy meridian and it still didn't help. And I was kind of kicking myself. I was just, because then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh, the migraine program probably in the local stimulation probably would have been the one, but I don't experience headaches. So I don't have much. But has anybody else found that with specific pains that the analysis doesn't pick up on it?
Hi, Penny. I'd love to jump in here a bit because I've got a lot of pain in my body and my head, so I feel like I can answer it a little bit because I've been using it since May for that purpose, as
Awesome.
as many other purposes. But yeah, so I actually have or had, I'm going to say in the past because it's not every day now, it was chronic daily head pain. And yeah, I mean, there can be lots of different causes of that. And so, and especially in the beginning, I didn't understand why it wasn't just coming up with, like you said, it's not technically migraine, but why it wasn't coming up with migraine, why it wasn't coming up with, there's a head program. Is that the one you said you did first, or which one did you try first?
Yeah, under bioenergetics.
Yeah. So, you know, they weren't really coming up, right? So, and nor was chronic pain either. But, you know, I had a lot of other things going on at the time too when I first started. So my energy was very severe, and my fatigue, my fatigue was very severe basically, and my sleep, my insomnia was very severe. And so that's what the Healy wanted me to focus on, right? Like at that time, they were the priorities. And so I went with that. I trusted that and I did that. And that over time, my head pain has improved, even though I've not focused on it directly, because it's not what's coming up, you know. And so, and then also, you know, I just want to say, like, I think it's well, okay, first of all, it can also be from detox. Like, so say like the head, you know, she could need detox. It could be allergy. Like, I resonate with the allergy thing because my head pain is usually caused by mast cell reactions, like histamine reactions. So, you know, it could have come up with allergies for her for that reason. But the other thing is that, so I'm careful with just sending like a quick frequency to someone in that, but this is me personally, I just want to say this, to someone like in a party situation, or not that I'm like out partying at the moment, I'm like stage 4 Melbourne, but you know what I mean, like I won't, even at a distance, like I just did a distance scan, that's why I was late to this meeting, and she wanted me to send her a frequency at the end. You know, I went through all 5 categories and I have my little way of doing it, and I apologize because Jason, you had asked for me to share that with the group, and so I will do a voice recording very soon in the True Resonance group about how I do it, because everyone's got their own way, but how I do a distance scan. But I've done about, you know, 30 odd ones, but I'm very hesitant to just send like a quick frequency, only because sometimes it puts people off if they don't feel anything, like, you know, dramatically just then and there from the vibrate. And for one, you know, you're meant to do it, say it's a chronic issue, like 2 to 3 times in the day. But secondly, you know, so it may take a number of days, but also, you know, for some people they need, I think as well, the microcurrent part. And so I find that if people don't feel anything, then they might, oh, well, this really doesn't work, you know. And I mean, even so, I this is what I emphasize to the person I just spoke to, who's thinking about buying, and she probably will, that, you know, the microcurrent is the hard evidence-based part, and that's going, you know, directly into the body with the voltage and all that. And that, as Mark has so beautifully explained before, that it's like giving a pinch or a nudge, I like to say, to the energy field with the vibrate, say, you know, in the Blue app. So yeah, I'm wondering, like, were you saying you were doing it, were you just sending the frequency with the Blue app, Penny?
No, I strapped it on her wrist.
You were, okay, I'm sorry.
We were together and she,
okay.
So we were actually running program, just because all the other experiences with pain, I've had such great, you know, like hip pain, leg pain, nerve pain, you know, every other kind of pain I've been able to, you know, mitigate with just a couple of minutes or a program, or maybe 2 programs at the most. But then I knew that head could have been a million different things. And, you know, she'd been drinking all day and in the sun. So I got her to drink like a liter of water. But so sorry, I misinterpreted, because I thought, because when you said you just did a few minutes, I thought you just did a like, quick vibrate program. So that's my that's my thing about that. But even, you know, first of all, I think for some things it can take time. So it can, you know, so if someone doesn't feel it straight away, like, that doesn't mean that if they did the program for the next few days that they wouldn't feel it. But also just to say that that's it, that that there are, I think often it goes to the root causes, and so you might be confused. Like, just another quick example is that skin comes up for me all the time, and like, I've got so many like severe issues that it's like, why the hell is skin coming up? Like, that's the least of my problems, right? But it comes all the time. But to realize that, you know, there's so many frequencies in each program. And so I've got joint issues and that are related to collagen, like collagen being broken down by various things. And so the skin programs probably have a collagen I'm guessing have like a frequency for collagen in them. So sometimes you need to, I think I found you need to think out of the box a bit about like, it may not seem to make sense as to why another program is coming up as the priority, rather than like what you or they think is the obvious issue, you know, at the time. And you know, I've seen it, like there was a woman with, and this is just one other quick example, with COVID, who she's a mother. She's the mother of
someone in Healy under me and in America, and she very sadly passed away. But this is someone that I did send distance frequencies to for about a week because her daughter was asking me to, and she didn't have her device yet, and I was sending it. And anyway, it did help her. She did originally come off the respirator, but then she ended up back on it and she passed away. But what was really interesting was the beauty was coming up number one, like every day pretty much with the scan. And like this woman is like on a respirator and dying. And we're like, why the fuck is, sorry, my language, but like, why the hell is beauty? Like this girl couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why it was happening. But then I said to her, I think that it picks up on thoughts as well, right? So we've got to think out of the box as well. Like it's thoughts have a frequency. And so I said to her, I know this sounds funny, but like, does your mum, like, is she quite focused on her appearance, like her beauty, and she said, yeah, like she laughed and she's like, it's hilarious, but yes, like I said, so is it possible that like she's lying there and even though she's so unwell, she's thinking like, I must be looking so terrible and like I must be aging, and she said, yes, that's like 100% would be what she was thinking probably. She was in and out of consciousness. But so we ran the beauty program. Eventually we ran the beauty program because lungs was coming up and other things were coming, immune system, but it was like her thoughts were obviously about her beauty, even though, so it didn't seem like to us that should be the priority. So we ran it. Yeah, it was. And we ran it and then it stopped coming up. And I said that to her. I said, finally, let's just do it because that's what her whole, like, that's what she wants. That's what her energy field wants, her everything, And so anyway, so I just to give some examples of when it's like, it's not always so straightforward why a particular program has come up when another issue seems to be the more pressing thing, but you don't know what frequencies are in there. And you also don't know what else might help them to get to that point of then dealing with that issue, with the other underlying sort of deeper things. So anyway, I don't know if any of that made sense, but
yeah, totally. No, that's yeah, I think that's spot on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I just want to say thanks, Linda. I appreciate you sharing all that. You've actually been really amazing as well, sharing in the Telegram groups and pitching in everywhere, and really want to say thank you for everything you've done, because I know you've had quite a ride going through all that, and you've really put the Healy to good use, and it's been great to see you succeeding and doing well with it and helping others. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you so much, Mark, and again, thank you so much to Mark and Jason. You guys are just absolute legends, and I just couldn't have done this without you guys, and I feel so supported in this team, and I love bringing in new people to this team because I know they'll feel supported too, so even though Healy has these customer service issues still and yada yada, it's like we are doing the very best. And Peter Cezaz has been amazing too for me, with what we've got right now, and just trusting and holding that vision that things are going to keep improving. But I feel I can do that because of you two. So, I'm just extremely, extremely grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Really appreciate those words.
Yeah, thanks, Linda.
And
thanks,
now,
guys.
I was just going to add, just on top of that, when it comes to pain, and then Shay, I'll hand it over. Like you just spelled it out so beautifully, Linda, with what you shared. And when it comes to the Healy and using the Healy, the way I like to see it is you've got two ways of using it. One is the resonance is like, okay, well, if you want to deal with this, let's deal with the problem, right? And then it will go to what's underlying whatever you're focusing the intention on. But if you want instant relief, acute relief from something like pain or something like that, then, because, the mind says, well, I don't want to feel the pain. Whereas the body says, yeah, but I'm giving you the pain so that you can take care of this deeper issue. Some of those local stimulation programs are like microcurrent programs that are designed to work with the pain sensation in the nerves and like chronic pain and those things directly in a way. And so in that sense, if they've got, for example, headache, then usually if you're looking for pain quick relief, I'd always go to the local stimulation page, because that's kind of what that page is all about, is the pain relief page in that sense. The other ones are more kind of about taking care of the deeper issues and other things like that. So the head program will probably be supportive, but you know, like you say, if they've been drinking, dehydrated, in the sun, all of these conditions set up to not the greatest experience with a Healy, as we do need to be hydrated for it to work properly. And then on top of that, if they're not really fully centered and present themselves, it depends on the kind of resistance that might be in them. But even with all of that said, the pain programs should still work for people because they're microcurrent based, essentially, with the pain itself directly. And so then I would have gone, like you say, it's in hindsight, is 2020, you know, I would have gone migraine, you know, the head pain in that sense.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it's not always going to work for everyone. You know, it's something that we see with even mainstream medicines. You know, not all medicines work for all people. We don't even understand why on a lot of them. And it's something like, you know, cannabidiol is a classic one, you know, CBD. Cannabidiol has been an amazing plant medicine for people. It helps so many with pain, like they get quick pain relief, anxiety relief, etc. But at the same time, I'd use the same CBD for other people and they'd get no results at all. Now, I'd find that it was less people were getting no results. Most people would get something. So it's just one of those things where sometimes it's just, you know, for whatever reason, it's not going to work immediately for somebody. That's usually a sign, like Linda's been saying as well, that there's something deeper under there that's actually getting in the way, that might even actually want the pain in some way. You know, it's like, you know, that's a whole nother reality to play with. But yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I had a similar experience about someone who just couldn't get rid of sciatic pain. And we tried a few different programs and things like that. And after a few days, she was like, it doesn't work. You know, this thing doesn't work. And I'm like, just in the conversation with her, I was just like, you know, it actually feels like you're in a place where you're not hearing, you're not wanting to allow anything to come into your space. Like your defenses are so strong that the placebo's turned into a nocebo where it doesn't matter, nothing's going to help right now until you just take a pause and relax and allow some of the gifts around. And then she ran a program and there was some success with it. But it's yeah, often we can make sure that we stay up on the cross and do everything we can to make sure that we stay up on that cross, to be crucified a little bit longer, to get the message, like Mark's saying.
And that's a great point. And what Steph just said in the chat as well, actually, is amazing as well, about, you know, that it could be trauma that needs to come up and needs to be released. And so, but Mark, and thank you, Mark, because that's a great way of putting it as well, that if someone, because I know that as well, sometimes your pain is so bad, you just want relief. So sometimes I do sometimes I will just go, stuff what the Healy is saying I need. Like, I need pain relief right now, and I did that the other night and put the local stimulation, like put the things on my back and whatever. But generally, because, you know, I've been in this for a long time, of like 7 years of trying to heal from these chronic illnesses, so I want to get to these deeper things. I want to do the, you know, uncover these root issues and work on these root issues. So, you know, but yeah, and Jason, like, I think it's being receptive is such an important part. And I've had people as well who have been sick for a very long time in the Lyme community and things like that, who, yeah, they are resistant to anything that's not, you know, more concrete or tangible, like medicine or a herb or, you know, something like that. So definitely agree that openness to it is a factor as well.
Thank you, guys. I was just gonna I was gonna ask a question actually, just about what Michaela was talking about last week, but I don't know if any of you guys know, but you know how sometimes when you scan and it comes up like in alignment on the auric scan, so it might be like the indigo, it might be like Ajna and it's indigo and it is actually indigo, and then it seems like it's saying that it's in harmony. If it's in the minus, which Michaela was talking about last week, which might be more underlying issues that are sort of not on the surface ready to be healed, and it's in alignment, and it seems like it's in alignment, when you're running the like frequency, then for the ones that seem like they're in alignment, what's going on with that? Does anyone sort of know, or is it in alignment? Like, is it saying the ones that you've got going good as well in the scan?
Steph, we can't hear you for some reason. You're unmuted, but maybe your mic's not switched to the right one.
I heard Steph. I could hear a question.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that was Shay that was asking the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Stephanie was talking without an answer. Or was that only me not hearing her? You got to keep us in suspense, Steph.
She says she has to restart it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Cool. All right. Do you want to speak to that, Mark?
I'll tell you what, Steph. While you're restarting, I'll delay and pretend I've got an answer, and then you can come on and give yours. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So I was just going to say that because I've noticed that, and to be honest, I quite enjoy it when I see those ones. It's like, oh, nice. You know, there's some good confirmations, and often I'll be like, yeah, that does feel like what's kind of moving in the right direction. And as you were asking the question, I kind of saw the image of because we're often so much in this mindset of fixing something broken. But there's also building something good, right? It's like, one thing is breaking down an old house or repairing an old house, but another one is building an extension on your house, right? Now, when you're building an extension on your house, there's nothing wrong with your house. You're actually just building the blocks towards creating something new. And so in that sense, what I was seeing as a vision, and I don't know if this is the right answer or not, just what I see, is essentially when the Healy comes up with something positive, and shows, okay, it is in alignment. It's saying, yeah, you've got this in alignment. And this energy is about basically supporting you in building and stabilizing that and continuing to ground that. Like we talked about with planting seeds and watering seeds in that sense. Yeah. So that's kind of how I kind of see it and imagine it in my world.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels right. And then with the pain one as well, that you guys were talking about before, and also I just want to say thank you for you guys as well, because the way that you just said that you want to hold this space so it just organically flows to whatever's coming up is like, that's perfect for me. I just think that's just awesome. Anyway, I was just gonna, with the pain one as well, I think I was telling you at one stage, Mark, I thought like I was getting these like hormonal headaches, and so I swore that like when I did the Healy scan that it would come up as the hormonal one, but it was coming up with sciatica and connective tissue, and it kept coming up with the connective tissue rather than, like, I was getting actually really like migraines from it, and I thought, oh, it'll come up with either migraine or hormones, but connective tissue was the main one. But it's just another good point, like with the Healy as well, when it's connective tissue, it still gives you that awareness that that's the root cause or something. So what I was doing was like running the connective tissue program, but then also doing like yin yoga or something that's like moving the fascia or allowing it to open, so that you sort of like, then you sort of know what might be the underlying thing that's causing it, and then having other tools as well that you can go, okay, if the connective tissue is sort of all bound up or something, maybe if I do this as well as run a frequency, it's going to unravel it. And it was just, yeah, it was perfect. Like it was really caught up in the hips, and it was somewhere as well that I didn't expect, but it worked. And yeah, so it's great. But yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome.
Courtney.
Thanks for sharing that, Shay. There goes Steph. Do you want to speak to the negative and when it's in harmony?
Can you hear me now? Okay, awesome. I just had a thought, Shay, that like, because when you're going into the deep analysis and you've chosen specific chakras, and then you tick the negative relevancies, you know, it sort of has no choice but to give you everything that comes up that's relevant in there. So say you're doing pretty well in the subconscious of the one you've chosen, it will still just give that tiny little misalignment because you've chosen that chakra to do the analysis on. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like it's just giving you everything, and that's really nice to see that point. But and so it might put it slightly in your vibrations of healing, but it probably won't prioritize it if there's other ones of high percentages. It's just specifically because you've chosen that chakra to analyze every possibility of, you know, that comes up. And I just wanted to speak into, like pain and things that come up that, you know, we have to remember that everything that presents itself in the physical is a misalignment in the quantum. So, you know, even like a stiff neck or things that are like, just show themselves as pure pain, or even I've had like a head cold and I'm just like, bloody hell, like I feel like my immune system's pretty good. Why is this happening again? And so many times the Healy has brought so much awareness, but in my experiences of using as a tool, there's sometimes a couple of extra steps I need to take of insight into really clearing some traumas. And I guess that's my personal journey, but I've got a friend who's like an energy healer mentor who, you know, sometimes she just called me and be like, is there something wrong with your head at the moment? And I'm like, yeah, I've been scanning and, you know, different stuff's coming up. And she said, you know, remember the Healy's a tool, but I think you're learning how to really clear traumas in a huge way. And she'll take me through, you know, we're going through and it can get to a certain age or, you know, whatever in your past. Sometimes you don't even need to speak into that, but working with source as well and clearing it out of the quantum back into alignment, sometimes instantly, whatever I had, even like a head cold or it couldn't move my neck, it just starts easing within like an hour. So it's really amazing to see proof of we are all energy, and sometimes, you know, using the Healy as a tool is going to be everything for someone, and someone might need a little bit of extra support in the form of another way to integrate together with it, you know. But yeah, I've been on quite a few journeys, and it's interesting because I can't, you know, I have so much to say about the Healy, but so many times for me personally, it's led me to this point where then I've had to do some other self-work to just really, but then I've cleared it for my life, you know. So it's interesting how it's all intertwined with emotions and traumas, and yeah, so much.
I love that point so much, Steph. I just wanted to say that's been very much my case as well. And it's, you know, for some people, yeah, Healy is everything, and for me it's a tool. It's one of the tools. It's an amazing tool, but you know, I'm also doing other trauma work and things like that as well. But what interestingly someone told me, and I just thought I'd drop this here for people who are open to it, because again, a lot of people aren't open to going into that trauma stuff, you know, or energy healing or whatever. But some people in my team are finding success with tapping while they're using, you know, the Healy. So like EFT or faster EFT, which is better for trauma. Saying Ho'oponopono during it, the Hawaiian prayer, or you know, different kinds of meditation and all that. So sometimes, that I've seen in people under me that's facilitated the shifts too, rather than just using the Healy by itself. That so going away and doing that trauma work, but also even doing some of that stuff while you're using the Healy. It's like there's like a synergistic effect sometimes, I think. So yeah.
Great, thanks for that. Great sharings. Wonderful. And I really align with that as well. That, you know, the Healy offers a lot, but it's a thing of supporting the bioenergetic system, and then there are all of these other aspects that can help to do that as well, and to help unlock, and sometimes, you know, a frequency can open something which helps us to see something, but then that needs to be dealt with in a maybe, you know, purely physical manner. We actually need to set up a routine, for example, or something like that to actually get through wounding. So it's we all know ourselves best as to what we need, and it's great to have Healy as a tool for that. Did you have a question, Bronte? You look like you have a question, but maybe that's just me wanting to hear your voice.
It's been a long time since I've been on the call, so I really appreciate being here. And sorry, I missed Michaela. Yeah, trying to learn more. Yes, I think that the Healy is a great tool, and it's not the magic wand either. It is just a tool for us to use the best way we can. And my partner's he's been dealing with some trauma things, and then it got into his body. He had an EMDR session, and then a few days later he went into this massive pain where he had to lay down for like 10 days, and the Healy hardly helped him. I kept running other programs trying to figure it, and just didn't go there, because I guess he just needs to go through that. He had another EMDR session today, and she was quite surprised he'd had such a big reaction from having had the trauma work. So, and then I can use it on myself, and it works so well. I overdid dancing this morning, and then I just put the electrodes and ran number 4 pain joints on my back, and it's gone. And it generally works that well. So we're all so different, and it's a great tool, and it doesn't fix everything, but I'm so happy to have it. And I'm really glad to have these new bracelets. Does everybody have them now? And it came really quickly. It came within less than a week when we ordered them. And the new sticky pads are great because they're so big. Yeah, really, really like them.
Bronte, where did you order them from? The Healy website or from that Healy accessories website we shared?
I think it was a healing accessory that was shared. Yep.
I think that's Peter or one of his crew are running. Is it Peter? Yeah, that's been sourcing those. And
It's
yeah,
Peter. It's Peter.
Great. It gets them out quick, and they're great, huh?
Yeah, really quick. So is that because they're in Australia or because they're in Singapore and they're ready to come out?
Yeah, that's Peter Saz has done that off his own back. If you look at the website, it says it's a independent distributor of affiliate. So that website's not officially Healy in that sense. So what Peter's done is he's found a temporary source while we're not able to get it from Healy. So he's been supporting, as he does in so many different ways, by getting a big bulk amount of these things into the country so that he can help get them to people while we're waiting for everything else to catch up.
Because these are not the silicone ones. They're stretchy, but they really conduct well. So he's found them someplace.
Yeah, he's basically, yeah. And you'll see as well that because it goes from the little clip and straight underneath is just straight metal. So me just going directly, because in a sense, these bracelets are very simple mechanisms. They're just a little knap, we call it in Norwegian. For some reason, I can't think of the word in English. Button thing, click thing. It's very simple in that sense, but getting hold of them can be challenging and knowing the right ones. So he's basically been sourcing them and made it available to us and then getting them out as quick as possible. So yeah.
Oh, wonder.
And is that from Australia, Mark? Is the accessories one where I ordered the extra same place?
Yeah. That should be the same place.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Good to know.
Indeed.
That's awesome, because a lot of people, in America, a lot of people are not liking the silver, the newer silver straps, but I believe that they're going to be replaced. Is that right? That because I know, so a lot of us, Australians are starting to buy the sticky patches from Peter because they're more sticky and bigger. But I've had quite a few people, to be honest, in America that are really not that happy with the silver straps. because they're saying, oh, they're a bit itchy and they're not that conductive. And I know they had those issues with the conductivity. So do you guys know if, because I think I read an email saying that they were going to send another newer straps to people in America who got the silver ones. Is that right? Yeah. So does anyone know about if anyone's received them or if they're any good? The newer ones?
I haven't heard from anyone who's received the latest batch as yet.
Okay.
I think they said it can take quite a while for them to roll out because basically they're getting these new ones out and getting them out to everyone. So it's probably going to be, I think even from memory, it was like, could take months before they roll them out and send them out to everyone. Now, that being said, I've been thinking about this, right, it's pretty common when you buy a product that most people generally end up getting their accessories because basically the leads, the sticky patches, the bracelets, they're all consumables. So for those that aren't used to that word, it basically means there's something that you will be replacing with the product, right? So the Healy warranty, for example, is only for the Healy device, not for the consumables. And it's the same with anything you buy, basically, with technology. Consumables are never covered by the warranty like that. Now, so with that being said, it's one of those things where often when you buy accessories direct from the company, like Apple or any of these other big tech companies, they tend to be more expensive and not always the best, things. And generally, it's a good idea to explore and look at the different, options out there and take it into your own hands when it comes to consumables, because you can get them very cheap online from Amazon. And if you find the right places that work well, then that's great. And I've actually found on eBay it's somebody who, what was really interesting, this is a little slip that is from someone called Elaine. Don't know if any of you know who this is, but Lakewood 3000, right? On eBay, I went and I was just thought, I'll try and chase up these sticky pads. So I ordered some sticky pads, got them sent out. Now, these aren't the best clips. They do work, and the sticky pads work fantastic. Like the other ones I didn't have much good luck with the Healy ones, whereas these are working great. But what really spun me out was the person, Elaine, from that eBay shop wrote to me and said, hey, just letting you know, I got some more bits and pieces, and they had really great communication. So I wrote back to them and said, oh, look, yeah. And I looked at their website, and I actually saw that in their listings, they had suitable for Healy. So whoever this is obviously kind of recognized, because I don't think anyone comprehends how many Healys are out there in the world right now. That's why we've got these delays getting them sent out to us. It's ridiculous, right? So every supplier of electrodes of some kind is probably going to have heard about the Healy by now, because everyone's scrambling to try and find, more, because there wasn't a demand for them. Like, we've increased the demand for these things massively. And so now is like a good time. So I'm going to continue I'm going to call this person and have a chat with them, see who they are and see what's going on there, because it's a good idea to start finding different places we can get these, electrodes and different things where we can rely on and support the people that are making the effort to help us out. And so this person said that they're actually getting leads in to suit the Healy as well as ear clips. So that's in Australia. I think they're over in Queensland. So I'm going to chat with them a bit more, and I'll be sharing that as well. So it's just so that we have a few different, and we're not kind of stuck with only one supplier. And then that way everyone can make their own choices. You can find the ones that work for you. Like this person actually has the little wrist sock things, the elastic bracelet thing, like a long one.
Oh yeah, they're good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you can clip directly onto that. It's a lot more comfortable, right? And so I've had a lot of people using those. They put them, if you're doing bones and joints, for example, you can put it over your elbow and different things like this. So that's just another thing to check out. There's all kinds of ways you can use the Healy, and really it's just about getting the current to the body. So that's a bit of an exciting thing, knowing that there's going to be other options.
Mark, can you let us know, can you put in the True Resonance group maybe her details? Because, and I know we've talked about it before, but so I have a lot of Americans in my team and they really want the ear clips. And I know that it's not, I shouldn't officially be saying that I can, provide any or anything like that. But the only company that I've found for that I knew was Healy compatible was this one in Florida. But there's a lot of different options, and people are confused or they don't know which which ones to get within that and all of that. And so it'd be great to have an ear clip source that even if they have to order them from Australia, that, you know, if that they want them that much, you know, I've told them you can put it on the mastoid section of the neck instead and blah, blah, blah. But some are kind of just insistent that they really want the ear clips. So, and by the way, Zap the Parasites is another one for the wrist straps, for people in America if they don't like their silver scratchy ones while they're waiting for the other ones.
Yeah, cool. Now, the only thing I'll say with ear clips is just be a little cautious, because some of you may not be aware, but in America, when you see the local stimulation and the acute programs, etc., it doesn't show the ones that use ear clips. Those ones just show 2 sticky pads on the top of the back, towards the neck. So it's just one of those things where when you're using the ear clips or on the mastoids, you know, you're actually working with cranial stimulation, which is why when you run those programs, they come up with a gray bar, not a black or a white, because the power level is much lower, that the Healy is not going to be able to tell you whether it's got a full circuit or not, because it can't put that kind of power through your head, basically safely. And that's also why there is a whole thing in America around having a prescription, is because if you misuse those, it's not that great for you. If you went and put, for example, energy from the gold programs and you stuck ear clips on, you'd be cranking some pretty hardcore energy into your head, which wouldn't be the greatest idea, right? So it's just that thing, just be aware of that with these people that are wanting to do that, that they need to take responsibility for using those ear clips. That if they do choose to do that, that's awesome, but you just maybe send them snapshots or whatever. Be a bit careful, because if what you're doing as well brings you into responsibility with them, and Healy themselves will not take responsibility for that, because they can't control that, and they could get in a lot of trouble if they had some problems because they misused it the wrong way.
Thank you so much for that, Mark, actually, because that's really important. And I had an American keep saying to me, I can't see where the programs are not saying use the ear clips. So now I understand. So you're saying it shows it on the back or under the neck?
Yeah, just like kind of like just along the between the shoulder blades, basically.
Okay.
Kind of.
She even asked in our group a couple of times, and she was getting frustrated because so that explains why.
Yeah. I had the same thing, Linda. It only came up when I've been dealing with some of the American crews, and I was like, hang on a second, can you send me a snapshot? So whenever that happens, always get them to send you a snapshot, and just, you know, like do a screen capture on your phone and show them what it looks like. That's the easiest way to kind of get through that. Otherwise, it can be this kind of back and forwarding that goes forever.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. Thank you. And I'll make sure that they understand the risks and that they're only to use the ear clips on those particular programs, but that it's, like you said, it's their responsibility. You know, that's really good to know. Thank you. Because I did understand why as well you were so cautious. You guys, you know, you like no one really wanted to talk about it. And like in the US group I asked and they're like, no, this is not compliant, and they wouldn't even answer the message. So now I understand a bit more why.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We have to be really careful, especially in markets like America, where there is a lot of desire to go into litigation and things like that, and anything that can be even suggestive that you're saying something. You don't even need to directly say it. You just need to almost suggest that you might say something, and that's enough. So really be careful about doing anything yourself, and if they want them, make sure that they buy them themselves, and that you're not then as the distributor for them supplying it.
Yeah, thank you. Because like one person did ask me to send her them, so now I'm gonna say, you know, no, you can buy them from you know, the Florida place or Australia, but yeah, it's your responsibility.
And there's no reason. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say there's no reason why we need to get to that level of ordering for them, right? If that's what they want, then let them find out, and you can obviously support some research, but just go. You know, when you're ready, then do that yourself.
Yeah, and it's a friend, but like I, you know, like Mark, that you've said one of your shadows has been realizing the people-pleasing element, and it's been a huge journey for me with that, and still is with the Healy and the boundaries element. And Jason's been great with reminding me when I need to, you know, put down my boundaries with certain people, and so I'm learning like huge things like that. And that's one of them. It's like, oh, I need to please them. I need to get them the ear clips. I need, no, like that's their responsibility. So yeah, this business teaches you so many, and patience, like you said, Mark, too. So yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. And just the last thing on those ear clips, what I would personally do is recommend them to actually contact that company that supplies them and to talk to them. Let them know, hey, I've got this device. It's a Healy. What would you recommend? Because there's a professional website in America that does supply ear clips, and then they can actually talk to them and get advice from them. And that way they can let them know, because I don't know how those, like, can you have too much power come through or not because of the, like, I'd seen there's a couple of different types of ear clip designs they have. So I'd recommend, so I'd recommend they contact them. Yeah. So but that's that thing as well. This is where one of the issues that I'm saying we have to be careful about taking responsibility for is this kind of Hey Siri attitude. I've got to stop saying that. My phone keeps on turning on Hey Siri again. But it's that thing where we're so used to just going, I just want to ask you a question and you just give me the answer straight away.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but you can also write an email to that company and just simply send them a photo of the Healy, send them a photo of the product specifications from the manual and say, hey, would I be able to use your ear clips for this? And would you be able to help me? Because they would love a client to be able to buy more product off them. So it's not our responsibility to be answering all of that information. We're affiliates to help direct people and give them guidance, but we all need to take responsibility for also, doing our own research and our own independent, questions.
That's a really great point. Thank you, Mark. And I will tell her, like, she's a homeopath, this woman, and she, wants to be using it on clients too and all of that. So, she was really eager to have it, but like you said, they'll want the business, and there's lots of different, like one says this coil and that coil, like within there's a gold one and a silver one, and like within them there's all these different details. So she was just overwhelmed by it. But yeah, think that point in general is really good for me to remember. So and I think for everyone that, that we don't have to take responsibility for everything, and that I am sort of feeling like a customer service person at the moment, like a tech customer service person for 45 odd people. And, but that sometimes there are things that we don't know or we can't do, and that we can get them to follow up certain things as well. So it's hard to know the line. That's what I'm finding. It's hard to know, because of some of the customer service delays and that, where, how much I need to compensate for and how much I need to let, Healy do it, and how much I need to let the client, the person, do it, themselves. So.
One of the big keys there, Linda, as well, that I've been finding is making very sure that when you bring people on, you be as clear as day with the current situation of everything. Now, it's that part that goes, but they might not buy, and it's a great opportunity. But what I've found is that I've not lost a single sale, because I just be straight up, because it's that part where when you explain why and what the situation is and the rest, people are like, well, I want this device. The option is I don't get the device. The option is I don't get a healing. I don't get to be part of this exciting thing. And if you don't be really super clear with them, like super clear in the beginning, then there does get that kind of, hang on a second, but I thought this, that, and then
there's resentment.
And then there's a responsibility to like patch up because we weren't clear. But if you be super clear with people beforehand, then that means that when things start happening, it's like, and this is what we talked about. You're going to need to be patient. Things will get, in time, things are going the right direction, but don't come screaming at me. Like, for example, with the shipping right now, we knew it was going to take a long time. It's going to be even longer than we thought, because, they say that we should have finished and cleared the back orders by the end of the month is what the kind of latest word was, I think, Chase.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's longer than we'd hoped, but it's also an insane experience. And off the back of it, we've also had the updates that they're increasing the production every day of the Healys. And by, I think it was around November or something, they're hoping that will never be a problem again, because they're now we say that, but next thing you know, the sales will triple through the roof and blast all the expectations out, and we'll have the problem again. So never promise that we won't have problems with Healy, and never promise that things will come on a certain date, but make sure that we're very clear on expectations, and it will take all the pressure off your back.
Thank you. That's a really, I do need to do that. And like I did lose, I did lose someone during the global sale in the UK who would have been great because of like I couldn't get her order through. I was trying to do it for her 2 nights in a row. And I think I told Jason at the time because it was just crashing when all the Americans were coming online, which was also a good time for UK. And by the 3rd day, she was just like, you know what, this company's got to get their shit together. Like I'm not doing this. But she really wanted the device. You know, she had Lyme disease and she'd done a lot of research. And she said, like, I'll wait until they get it, you know. And I was really upset about it, and Jason said at the time, you know, like, she'll probably come back around again later, and she probably will, but you know, she may or may not, but like I need to accept that too.
I mean, the thing is, this is where I think if we can be really clear with this and manage expectations, then, because the last thing you want to do is go, okay, customer service isn't great, so I'll help you out with the customer service stuff.
And that's what I do, yeah.
Right? Because then all of a sudden now you are labeled by
service.
yourself as customer service, right?
Yeah,
and then
that's
anything that they can't get from you, now you're the one that's responsible, and you haven't been giving good service, and you need to lift your game, and you. And it's like, hang on. I'm going to do what I can. These are the limitations of what we've got, and speak clearly to that. And then you can be really clear with your boundaries, because it's been clear from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think particularly the older people, like when it wasn't that clear to me when I started how the customer service was going to be, you know, that's the other thing too, that they're the people that really, really expect a lot because they had no clue, but I had no clue either, you know, but now you're right. Now it is my responsibility to make that more clear to new people, and to get my team members to make that more clear, and to accept that some people, it's great to hear, Mark, that you're saying that you haven't lost anyone from that, because that is the fear, of course, you know, but it is such a great device. And so I guess if we can just focus on that, and an opportunity, like you said, of business, and that know that the people that are meant to come on board now will believe that. That's what I need to, that trust that the people I'm meant to attract into my team now will come under the current conditions, and those that won't may come back later when things improve, or they may not, and that's okay. But yeah, like you said, Jason, I need to really, I don't want to, like, I didn't get into this to be customer service. Like, I'm not very techie myself, and I feel like that's my job now. Like, you know,
and this is something Mark and I were talking about this, and it's got to do what Mark was alluding to before with the Hey Siri and the expectation that people have of, I'm going to ask a question into the True Resonance group, and I kind of expect an answer straight away. Yeah. And if I don't get an answer, or whether it's the True Resonance group, or whether it's the Healy customer service, and you know, I put in a ticket yesterday and I haven't got a response yet. And yesterday happened to be the weekend, and the customer service doesn't even work on the weekend. So there's these expectations. Whereas if we can help people to know that the first stop is, have you done the basics? Have you gone to the pinned post, and have you looked at the frequently asked questions, and is the answer there for you? And even the Healy website has got a large number of like FAQ answers now. So, you know, we really can send people to the resources that are there. And this is where we get into the duplication model of, the more I help you, the more expectation there will be that I'm the person that answers the questions to everybody. Whereas the more I say the answer is over there, that can be duplicated.
Well, like you said to me, Jason, I think before, like the teach a man to fish thing, you know, like that I've got to start teaching them to fish for themselves a bit more. But also, and I just have to say this, like, because I've got, I don't know, like 13 or 14 directly under me, Americans under me, and customer service is so extremely incredible in America, and I've spent a lot of, like, I've worked there and I spent a lot of time there, and so I've kind of had to explain that to them, because their expectations are even higher than Australians, you know. They really are. You know, and so
we know for sure that the American customer service will be, well, it already is the best out of all of the markets in Healy, and that will continue. And
but
it
that's not
will
good
be-
enough for them yet, and that's okay because they're so backlogged and stuff. But that is so good to know, and it has to be because otherwise, Healy is one of its kind at the moment, but you know that there's so many options in America. Usually they're used to for products that if they don't like the customer service, they'll just go somewhere else. You know, whereas in Australia we don't have as many options of things sometimes. So. And we're just more laid. I don't know. It's a cultural thing, whatever. But then Germany's on the other end of the spectrum and not very good customer service.
And, you know, in the end, Linda, like there's all kinds of reasons and stories and things people will give all around the place. And that's where it's super, super important that we get it right in the bud before we even begin the relationship with somebody. And that's where it comes down to a very simple thing where if you can believe in this, if you truly believe in this thing of what it can do, and I mean, we're all seeing what it can do in our own lives, then where I've come to in this point is that, hey, I totally understand if this sounds like it's going to be too hard, if you're not up for the patience, if you don't have the patience to be able to deal with that kind of customer support and those kinds of things, that's absolutely okay. In about a year's time, things will probably be perfect. It will at least be a lot better in a year's time to, you know, maybe that's what you need. Wait, no worries at all. It does mean that you won't get to use a Healy for a year. Now, if that's the case, that's the case. All the best. I absolutely respect that because anything that I do to get that person to come on, if that's their mindset, is going to end up in tears. It's going to end up in exactly that situation.
And
then there's that
mistake.
entitlement, right? There's entitlement, there's arrogance, there's all this kind of stuff that comes from
anger. They're angry.
Right?
Yeah, they're angry.
Yeah. Whereas what I find is when you say, hey, that's totally okay. No worries. But, you know, here it is. It'll be here when you're ready. Either they've come back 2 months later and said, hey, that Healy, I think I want to get involved now. And there's a really powerful thing in saying no. Yeah. You know, when you say, hey, you know what? I don't like, I've turned one person away. I've actually said, I will not sell to you.
What?
Because I just saw that they were not mentally stable. They were not, in a place where they were looking to blame things. They were looking to, and thank God I did, because pardon my words, but he ended up sending dick pics to somebody in the groups, right? Now, this is an extreme example, and I'm glad that I picked it up. This isn't in True Resonance. This was something to do with another mob. Now, I'm glad I picked this up because that's the kind of thing that if you try and just be the yes person to everybody, then all kinds of problems, you get caught in all kinds of codependent relationships. And so this is a really important thing in this, that we learn that it's okay to say no. This Healy is changing the world. It will sell itself. Trust in synchronicity to align the right people in your teams right now, because the people you want in your teams are the people that are grateful, that are going to thank you in a couple of months' time that you helped them get on board. And then they're going to be grateful when things start going. Now, in 2021, when we've got customer support, all these things, people are going to come flooding because Healy is going to have cutting edge website, cutting edge customer service. They are going to develop it. They're working on it every day to get there. It's a massive job to do, right? So this is that part where it's like, look, when you approach someone knowing that what I've got here is genuinely a once in a lifetime experience. This is not a sales pitch. This is not something, it's a once in a lifetime to get on board with a startup company that's bringing life-changing technology. Are you interested? And if they go, oh, I don't know, you have to convince me. It's like, no, all good. I'll talk to you in a year's time. But if you do get interested, you know where to find me. Then all of a sudden they go, hang on a second, what's going here? How come they're not trying to sell me? And then they get curious and then they start leaning in. No, but hang on, before you go, and then they want to know more, right? And it's about taking the power back and saying, no, I'm not chasing a sale with you. I'm not trying to convince you because you know what? This is an amazing gift. And it's like, it's okay if it's not the right time for you. And then when you really own that and you get rid of that kind of, and that's part of what makes network marketing get sticky, is that feeling of, oh, I've got to make quick sales, or someone else is going to get the sale. Yeah. Once you kind of shake that off and go, whatever, like the right people trust in that, then all of a sudden that stickiness, that codependence starts disappearing. You start becoming empowered and people go, well, hang on, can you tell me more about that? And Mac, you're actually, and then people have been watching like, hang on, they look at my nice new car driving around going, what? How did you do that? And it's like, I told you. You had a great opportunity. I told you about it. And it's okay, totally. So, is it still like, maybe I'd like to know more about it? So, yeah, sure. It's still early. Not as early as when I first told you, but it's still early, and then you get to hold your power rather than leaning over. So,
Thank you
That's
so
an
much. That is so valuable, so valuable, and that's the shift that I really do want to make. And I found that the people that are grateful, it's such a pleasure to work with them. You know, it's so great, and I want to be working like I'm building this together, and it lifts my vibe, and it then they're attracting more high vibe people, and it just works. It flows that way. So, you know, that is what you're right. Thank you so much for this, Mark. That is what I need to start embracing moving forwards. And thank you for Jason for saying that too, you know, along the way. And I think the penny has really, really dropped with this conversation about that's what needs to shift. So thank you.
I hope penny didn't drop.
I don't know where that saying comes from. That's ridiculous. I've had a big aha moment. So thank you.
Awesome.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, we've
Jace,
gone well over an hour. Yeah.
Just seen Bronte's asking about the fast track devices. I believe there's a team working on getting those out. Do you remember what the date was on those?
No. Look, I think that they want, I mean, it obviously is going to vary from market to market. We do know that they've kind of been given the lowest priority out of devices that are getting shipped out. So they're trying to ship and get a Healy in everyone's hands first before they start giving people second ones, which is fair enough, and also equally frustrating when you've been waiting since April. And that's where the way things are going, it looks like the stock is definitely getting better in Singapore. And we're going to hopefully, you know, this is what I wanted to say before, hopefully they will have shipped all of the devices that have been ordered by the end of this month. That doesn't mean that we're going to receive them by the end of this month. It just means they've left the warehouse in Singapore. How long it takes to get from Singapore to our home is totally outside of Healy's hands, and it has a lot to do with Australia Post and the other people, DHL, that are delivering. So yeah, that's something they can't say, but they are hoping to have, including those devices, the fast track or fast start devices out by the end of this month out of their factory. So let's just say hopefully by the end of November, all of the fast start devices should hopefully be delivered. So that'll be a nice early Christmas gift.
Do we know how many Australia sold during the World promo?
No, I know that the Singapore warehouse had 10,500 orders.
Okay.
And that we were
going to get
second. Sorry.
And they told us we were going to get 3,500
this week, 3.5 the following week, and another 3.5 the following week. So that equals to 10.5 from my maths. So but that doesn't allow for any new ones. But production is increasing, and it's still just a case of getting them out. You know, getting products onto aeroplanes is still one of the hardest things globally.
And I was just saying, there was a message I did get from Ada here. What was that, on the 10th, I think it was. And it was someone asking about the fast starts in one of the other leadership groups. And Peter had responded saying, working on it, and it should be soon in the next 1 to 3 weeks. So the way that I interpreted that was there is a separate team specifically working on the fast starts as well. So like you say, they're not the highest priority, but at the same time, they are working on them together. Because there is a need for, obviously we can't just keep putting them off because orders will keep coming in. So like you said, like Jace, you said, they will be coming. They're, and we just got to keep being patient and breathe deep. Now I did receive mine, but that's from April, March, right? Jason still hasn't received his. Poor bugger. So
yes, same. I got mine from April, but it was with a lot of pushing with Peter's help at the time. And then because I was really insistent on having a loan device, but yeah, like a lot of my customers haven't gotten theirs, and yeah, it's understandable that that's obviously the lowest priority, but yeah, good to know that hopefully November they'll get them.
all right. Well, my seed that I'm planting is that 2020 is a dharmic year of karmic events where we're all kind of recalibrating, taking on the chin, learning a lot about ourselves and the shadow sides, and stepping into power. And my wish, my seed that I'm planting is 2021 is going to see all of the hard work we've done this year together as a team really start to flower. And I think we're going to see amazing things happen. So that's my inspirational finish to the day.
Woohoo!
You guys are awesome.
All right. Beautiful. Thanks, everyone. And
Thanks, guys.
I'll put this recording up to share, and we'll see you all during the week at Evolve Chats or here next week. All right. Bye, everyone.
Awesome.
Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See you, Benny.
Bye. Thank you.
Good to see you, Bronte.
Bye. Thank